11% of Australians identify under the LGBTi umbrella. That's about 10 in every 100 people that will walk into your clinic. Let's explore this diversity, understanding that each element lies on a very large spectrum. So there's biological sex, which we can simplify into male, female, and intersex. Then we have our gender identity. People may identify as a man, a woman, or non-binary. A transgender person identifies with a gender different to that of their upbringing. Finally, we have sexual or romantic orientation. Who are we attracted to? This is where we use the terms lesbian, gay, straight, bisexual, pansexual, asexual, and queer.
When you decide to pursue a career in health, you should be committed to giving every patient the best care and treatment you can. You can read every book you like, but to immerse yourself in something and go in with a truly open mind, that's when you really start to get it. To hear someone else's personal story was incredibly powerful.
Well, the sexuality itself is often a huge barrier because older women in particular have probably been closeted. They've been discriminated against, they've been abused, they've lost their family, which is what happened to me. As soon as I came out to my family, that was it, something evil sort of thing.
What's the difference for LGBT people? I mean, that's one of the things that I often get asked by health providers. Why do I have to take any notice of this population group? Why can't I just treat them like anyone else? And really it's about trying to understand their experience, lifelong experience often of discrimination, and the health inequalities that go with that.
I had an unfortunate experience several years ago. I had a multiple fracture to my leg, compound fracture, went by ambulance to a hospital, and I was in the emergency care section for some time before going up for surgery. And my partner, who was with me, advised me that probably 15 to 20 people on staff came to have a look at the trans person.
I think it's really important that every medical profession and every student learns about the rights and responsibilities of being a practitioner and supporting everyone in the community, and particularly LGBTi, lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, gender diverse and intersex community, because we do have specific needs. And when you're ill, you are very vulnerable, and that's not the time you should be doing advocacy. That's the time you should just be getting services. And so it really is up to the provider to make sure that it's inclusive service.
I had a patient recently who identifies as bi, and she went to a new doctor that she hadn't met before and came out as bi because it was relevant to her health issue. And the doctor said to her, does that mean you want to change your gender? And so she was sort of horrified that this doctor had so little understanding of what bisexuality actually was. And rather than try to explain it to this doctor, she just decided in her mind at that point she wasn't going to go back. And in fact didn't go back to see any doctor for several months after that.
The important thing for any health profession is a willingness to be open, a willingness to listen to what your client is saying to you, a willingness to hear what's being said. Because so often, and we're talking about older women here, doesn't matter whether you're lesbian or not, older women traditionally have been written off.
I see a lot of patients who have tried to see other health providers, whether it be GPs, physios, social work, counselling, and had really difficult experiences. And these experiences often relate either to being ignored, having their sexuality or gender identity ignored or overlooked, or negative attitudes that sometimes quite subtle. So a person might not be overtly homophobic or transphobic, but by their very body language and inability to understand or probe and question what's happening, the patient will realise, well, this person isn't very comfortable.
In Victoria, equality is not negotiable, and people that come for medical service, it's illegal to discriminate against them. So whatever medical service that is, and people have different abilities to make somebody feel comfortable, but you cannot discriminate against someone because of their sexuality or their gender identity in Victoria.
People say all the time, I'm not homophobic, transphobic, etc. And while that may be true, there is still a lack of conversation in this space. Even though you're not trying to be intentionally prejudiced, your actions can still impact others.
This is something we learned firsthand through our collaboration with Matrix Guild, a community of older lesbians. We thought we were being polite and respectful, but we didn't even realize that our language was offensive to some of these women.
As an older woman, and never mind that I'm an older lesbian, there is this automatic assumption that I am Mrs. somebody or other.
It's a simple process of understanding the diversity within this subgroup, understanding the language that's used, but also understanding the barriers they find in disclosing to us, and hopefully helping people to disclose in a sensitive way.
So there's this built-in assumption that everybody is heterosexual. I know that's a dominant area, and that's difficult to overcome because you're aware that assumption's there. And it really comes down to the individual who wants to let it slide or say, no, I'm not heterosexual, I'm a lesbian.
It's important if you're going to reception that the receptionist use the right terms. It's important that the provider of the service uses the right terms. We're keen to see forms that allow more than male and female, more than married or divorced or whatever else might be there, that embrace perhaps family of choice rather than family of origin, and that the person is treated with respect and with dignity.
We know from our work that discrimination and lack of respect can have a major impact on health and well-being of individuals in our society. And so it's very important in our curriculum that our students have an appreciation of that.
There are many things service providers need to consider when delivering support and care for LGBTI people, and especially older LGBTI people. You can inform yourself and find out more about how you can provide LGBTI inclusive services from the Rainbow Equality website. You can find reliable evidence-based information set out under key headings. There is also information about LGBTI inclusive practice standards developed by Gay and Lesbian Health Victoria. You can find out more information and download resources from the GLHV website at www.glhv.org.au.